I'm Yoshiaki Ano from Tokyo, Japan. I will talk about the threat of the asymmetric wars of the PLA. The strategies of the PLA put the great emphasis on the asymmetric wars. They assert that in such a war, the inferior side finally got the victory for about 30% of the wars. There are many aspects of the non-symmetries: power, operation domain, period, equipment, and technologies, and methods of the operations. In the post-Cold War era, the asymmetric warfare represents the new characteristic of information war. We should analyze and research the asymmetric wars. Today, by using the missiles, the inferior side can defend directly against the superior side in direct attacks like the strategic bombings. According to the thinking, despite the decrease of the effective attacks caused by the deployment of the missile defense systems in the US and its allies, for the PLA, the missile should be kept as one of the most reliable asymmetric direct attack measures against the superior forces like the US forces. The PLA has made a great effort to win the local conflicts under the circumstances of the military information operations, especially after the Iraq War in 2003. The PLA strategists recognize that information war is the most important aspect of the new types of wars, and the operation domain should include the aerospace and the cyberspace. Military Science Institute, 2005. For attack on US C4ISR, command, control, communication, computer, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems, and to defend their C4ISR systems, they have developed and conducted the clandestine cyber operations in the peacetime as one of the operation domains and the methods supported by the advanced IT technologies in the new asymmetric war. China is executing the vigorous activities to increase their space capabilities, especially for the military purposes, like the anti-satellite attacks. They are also developing other soft kill measures, including covert operative, jammer, and EMP, electromagnetic pulse. The hard kill capabilities for the amphibious assault operation, the special operation, and the submarine attacks under the support of the modernized joint forces put a great emphasis, judging from the trend of their military force construction. Although the elements of the hard kill methods and the soft kill ones mentioned above should be effectively combined each other, the total effects brought by these war capabilities could increase the probability of the success of the A2AD strategy in the Western Pacific. And besides, the U.S. forces rely on the vast transportation networks for the logistics support spread among the allied countries in the Western Pacific. This reliance brings the serious vulnerability to the U.S. forces. If the allied countries reject the use of the U.S. bases in their countries, the U.S. forces will not support the forward deployed forces. Because Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, located within 1,500 kilometers from the coast of China, are in the range of the Chinese MRBMs and cruise missiles. Those countries might reject the use of the U.S. bases when threatened by China with their missile forces, additional to the special force attacks and the cyber attacks, without any engagements of the military forces. Next, I'll talk about the U.S. estimate of the anti-access area denial strategy and its countermeasures. The U.S. estimate of the anti-access area denial strategy. The U.S. government estimates that states are developing anti-access and area denial capabilities and strategies to constrain U.S. and international freedom of action. These states are rapidly acquiring technologies such as missiles and autonomous and remotely piloted platforms that change our ability to project power from the global commons and increase our operational risk. China is clearly involved in those challenging states. This shows that China's ability to defend the offshore sea of China encircled by the three island chains has been estimated to be effective by the U.S. side. A combination of ballistic cruise missiles, aircraft, and covert operative attacks on runways, aircraft, shelters, and other critical facilities could render U.S. airfields in Okinawa, South Korea, and the main islands of Japan unusable, particularly in the days of a conflict. In addition, ballistic missile, cruise missile, aircraft, covert operative, jammer, anti-satellite, EMP, and computer network attacks could degrade command and control or early warning capabilities for forward deployed forces, particularly air forces operating from bases within about 1,500 kilometers of China, to the point that the theater commander would choose to move them farther away. Even if Chinese anti-access measures did not result in the outright defeat of the United States, they would likely make it significantly more costly for the United States to operate in the region. Moreover, it is probable that these costs rise enough that even if U.S. decision-makers were confident that the United States would eventually prevail in a conflict with China, they might be unwilling to pay those costs. The United States, however, can take a number of actions to counter Chinese anti-access threats, strengthening passive defense at air bases, deploying air and missile defense systems, strengthening defense against covert operatives, and bolstering Allied air defense capabilities will reduce the vulnerability of air bases to anti-access attacks. Diversifying basing options for aircraft will diminish the effects of such attacks. Air and missile defense systems strengthen defenses against covert operatives. Improved Allied defensive capabilities, improved information security practices, and efforts both to deter and to mitigate the potential effects of high-altitude nuclear detonations can reduce the vulnerability of C4ISR systems.